Hey friends, Itheria here, and I have to talk about Scholar. So we just had our live letter and we got a lot of job updates talking about what the job changes are going to be for the different jobs. How many times can I say job? And I really wanted to talk about Scholar because it is being memed. Okay, it's being completely dragged. And I kind of have to agree that Scholar has been robbed. Scholar has always been robbed. It has the ugliest clothes, the animations are nowhere near as pretty as Astrologian or White Healer Mage. The book is like such a lame weapon to have. Like, yes, there are some cool book glams, but in general, kind of lame, right? Just there's so many things about Scholar that I always feel kind of bad. And I actually played Scholar as like my first class. Like when I first started playing, I started as the Conjurer, but around level 30, I went and changed to Scholar because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a free DPS if I play this. And I thought that'd be really useful. And I didn't want to have to level up 2 separate jobs, especially as a new player. So that's kind of what happened. Now, I'm by no means a pro Scholar. I don't play it anymore. I usually main White Healer Mage, and I'm a pretty casual player, not gonna lie. I did not read the balance for any of the healing classes. I just play and figure if I can keep people alive and we make it through the raid, that's good enough, okay? Okay, great. You know, I've done some extremes. I've done like 1 Savage and I've been fine, so it is what it is. But anyway, so let's go over first the changes that are actually happening to Scholar. Scholar's getting a haste skill. So it's going to be kind of like Peloton, but it's apparently going to be, it's going to work in combat, which Peloton does not. And then I've heard as well that it'll have some mitigation on it. I did hear some rumors that they would rework the fairy, but that's all I heard was rumors. There was nothing like concrete, nothing specific, just that apparently they might do something with it. And then, of course, like all the other healers, they're going to get a single target buff. So that's all I know about what's happening to Scholar right now. I watched a couple of videos about the live letter and talked to some people in my FC, so that's what I heard about the class change. So first, let's talk about that change. I'm neutral about it. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, like, a lot of the jobs that need a haste skill or need a gap closer have it, so a lot of people don't feel that this is going to be a useful skill at all. I do have to disagree somewhat because I do think it will be useful. However, I think it's going to be useful for new players or when you are first learning a piece of content. So if a new raid comes out, a new dungeon, and obviously a lot of stuff's going to be new in Endwalker, but I think when you're still learning all of the mechanics, having that haste for the whole party, I think that'll be really useful. It kind of reminds me of when I'm in Bozja or Zadnor, and I don't really know what the heck's going on in a Fate, or a critical engagement especially, mostly the critical engagements. And somebody uses Lost Impetus, or I use it myself, and I can just zoom out of the danger zone. That's kind of what I think it would be useful for, that sort of thing, just in dungeons and raids, of course. I don't think it's going to be as fast as Lost Impetus, though, so maybe it won't be that useful, but, you know, that's kind of my general thoughts on it. I think it could have a purpose. People did say that the current content, there's no need for any haste skills, and I agree with that. We've all been doing it forever, for years, and we haven't needed that haste skill, and if we did, we use sprint or our gap closer depending on what class you're playing. So, you know, it's really not necessary for the current content. I do wonder if they're gonna make it necessary in some of the dungeons, or maybe not dungeons, but raids, because you'd have 2 healers, and they are planning to make it so that when you queue for like a just random queue or whatever, you will get 1 barrier healer and 1 pure healer, so there won't be any issue of like stacking shields or anything like there was before. So I can't see them doing it in dungeons, because if you queue into a dungeon with a White Healer Mage who doesn't have that haste skill and it's like apparently necessary for a mechanic, that wouldn't work out. But maybe in a raid, but I don't know, I really can't see them making the haste skill necessary, because if they did that, then again, you would have to get Scholar, and just, you might get Sage and White Healer Mage, you know what I mean? So it's like, they can't really do that, but anyway, let's move on from that. So, what did I hope would happen with Scholar? There's a few things. The first thing, I wish that they would give Scholar, or change the way one of Scholar's current skills works, so that when you die and get back up, you have a fat heal. Because we have this for White Healer Mage. We have Benediction, we have Tetragrammaton. So they're fantastic. You're not left with nothing. Even regen is helpful if those are on cooldown. And similarly with Astrologian, we have the Essential Dignity, and then there is another one. It's a single target heal. I can't remember the name of it, but it'll give you back maybe like half-ish of your HP. And then depending on your sect, it'll apply either like a heal over time or some sort of shield. Obviously with Astrologian becoming a pure healer, if that skill remains, it will probably just end up giving you a heal over time. So the problem with Scholar is that if you die, you don't necessarily always have something when you get up. And I know that can be true for like White Healer Mage too, like maybe you used your Tetragrammaton, maybe you used your Benediction, but like I just feel like it's not as bad because you still have regen, and like regen's pretty good. So I don't know, you know, I just feel like the other thing is, so with Scholar, you have like Lustrate, you have to use Sparks for, and then Excog, you know, if you don't have Sparks, you can use Recitation and you can heal yourself that way. Or you can heal yourself with Indom the same way, like Recitation with Recitation. And I've done both of those things before. Like, I've been like, okay, I don't have any sparks, but luckily Recitation is on cooldown. I can easily get up and heal myself. But I've also had a number of experiences where I just used my Ether Flow to get my sparks. And then once I die, all the sparks are gone, so I can't use sparks. And then my Recitation's on cooldown because, I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid and don't know how to play. That's actually probably true. But a lot of times I'll use Recitation to put like Excog on the tank. I'll get up and I'll be like, well, Excog is in cooldown, Recitation's in cooldown, I just died so I don't have any sparks, and Etherflow's in cooldown. So I don't have a regen type skill, which Astrologian does. I'm just like stuck. I'm just like, I just have to dodge until I can heal myself. I just don't like that. But I think what's worse is that when you die, so does your fairy. So basically, what happens is you get up and you have to cast your fairy over again. And I'm like, that takes way too long. Like, especially if you're an extreme or savage, it can be really hard to find the time to dodge everything and then cast the fairy. So especially if your other healer is dead and can't heal you, or you're about to experience some sort of raid-wide explosion or AoE, you're gonna die again. You're just gonna die again, and it's so frustrating. So I wish they would have eliminated the cast on the fairy. Like I said, I did hear rumors that they're reworking the fairy, so maybe they will do that. Like, it would be nice if when you got raised, like, you didn't even have to recast the fairy, it just stayed out. I think that would be the best. Or the fairy would cast just like the summons do, the Eggies, if it would just be like an instacast thing. And then speaking of instacast, a lot of the Scholar's fairy heals are kind of laggy. Like, you click on the heal over time and it's like a couple seconds later. Or like Fey Blessing. Like, I will click on Fey Blessing, but the White Healer Mage in the party has already healed the group, and like, then I just wasted my Fey Blessing. Like, why did I even use it? Like, I'm sure there are people out there who main Scholar and who have a really good sense of the timing on these things, so maybe they can use them a bit faster. But I just personally don't understand why they aren't instacast heals and why there's such a lag. Like, why did they have to make it so it, like, what is it, the animation? I don't get it. I just don't get it, because you have, it's like you have these instacast heals on White Healer Mage and Astrologian, so like, why can't Scholar have one? I don't understand. So I would say that those are the main three things I would like to see changed about Scholar. So one would be, you know, having some sort of heal to potentially use when you get up. 2 would be having the fairy get up with you or be instacast. And 3 would be speeding up the timing of the fairy's skill cast instead of making it have a lag. It's so weird. It's like you already have slow casts for all of your like actual heals aside from Indom, which doesn't only take a spark. It also, unlike the White Healer Mage, a Flatus skill, it's like got a 30-second cooldown. Like, what the heck? It's like, why do they hate Scholar? I don't get it. Like, anyway. Like, I don't get, why do the fairy skills have to cast? Like, it's like the fairy's charging a cast and it's like only slightly faster than the cast for something like Sakura. I don't know. So, you know, like I said, Scholar has been robbed. I feel bad for the class. Am I gonna play it? Probably not. I mean, I'm gonna try it. I'm definitely gonna try it. I want to see what they did. Like I said, maybe I'm like holding out hope. Maybe they will like have done something with the fairy because I heard those rumors. But like, let's be real. I'm gonna play Sage. Okay, I'm gonna play Sage. I'm gonna play Sage and White Healer Mage because I still love White Healer and I'm excited to see the change. I mean, I'm gonna play all of them just to see the changes, but I feel like the ones I'm gonna like keep playing are gonna be Sage because it's shiny and new and interesting. And White Healer Mage because I have always loved it. It's so much fun, especially at level 80 with all the fun, crazy, fat burst heals. It just, you feel like a god, okay? White Healer Mage is loved. Scholar is like the ugly, deformed child that Square Enix seems to wish it didn't have. Even though they could improve it, it's like they just don't want to. I don't get it, but there you go. There's my thoughts. I hope that you enjoyed listening, or I should say watching, and I really hope that you will leave your own thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Scholar? Especially if you're a Scholar main who knows what they're doing, please tell me how you feel about Scholar. What are the changes that you wish would be implemented in Endwalker, and how do you feel about the new haste skill? Do you think it'll be useful? Okay, thank you so much for watching. Farewell.